wasn't the plan. Don't wanna demand it, I've done what I can. And I never mentioned the times you were rude. And I never mentioned when you hear the truth. Scared to lose it all, I won't stand a chance. And I don't wanna fake it. What if I can't walk away? Got me saying away, hoping I don't make the same mistake. Same mistake. Hoping I don't make the same mistake. I don't like to leave things unresolved. Maybe it's madness. I'm begging you, please pick up the call. You're causing me damage. I should've known, wasn't your fault. Don't even matter. I wasn't thinking clear, trying to take it there. Scared to lose it all, I won't stand a chance. And I don't wanna fake it. What if I can't walk away? You got me standing in the rain, hoping I don't make the same mistake. Same mistake. Hoping I don't make the same mistake. I'm just standing in the rain, hoping I don't make the same mistake.
Hand out, she holds. It's feeling like we've been here before. We're both so broke. That's something that'll keep us afloat. Don't walk too slow. We can't keep falling deeper again. Came too close and the taste so far from pure. A rush of blood, but we search for so much more. We've all been here before. We've all been here before. We've all been here before. Hand out, she holds. It's feeling like we've been here before. We're both so broke. That's something that'll keep us afloat. Don't walk too slow. We can't keep falling deeper again. Came too close and the taste so far from pure.
Alrighty, hello everyone and welcome back to another Shenandoah University Esports broadcast. My name is Kevin Clayton and today I have a special guest with me on the desk, someone who is going to be on the desk a couple more times in the future. Willie, tell me, how are you doing today?
I'm doing absolutely great. I'm so thrilled to be on the mic with you today, and especially even more thrilled to be watching some great Smash Brothers today.
Yeah, that's what I am. Oh man, I get excited every Thursday, and I'm so happy that we get to watch Smash Bros. Not only at the varsity level, but also the academy level. With so many players coming into the Smash Bros. Scene here at Shenandoah, I'm really getting excited seeing all these different characters and what our players are starting to experiment with. So hopefully today we get to see a little bit more of what they've been cooking up over the last couple of weeks.
Absolutely. You know, it's sort of interesting that the last couple of times we've been scheduled to play on the same days, we've been able to watch Academy, which is something we so rarely get to do now. And it's been a lot of fun just getting to see over these last few weeks how they've been growing as a team and how they've been, working and practicing. It's really something amazing to see, and I'm really happy to get to watch them another time this Thursday.
Yeah, so with that being said, we do want to talk a little bit about the standings so far. We have seen that Week 1 Shenandoah Academy did go down one game, but on the last week, they looked like a whole different team. We had a couple of superstar players really make their presence known, especially in a very intimidating way. The Ganondorf on Shenandoah's team has been rocking house, and I am all for it.
Absolutely. It's really something fascinating, I find, that we've been seeing these matches, and it might just feel like a number or statistic on the screen, but each one of these, it can be so close and so down to the wire. And even in these games we lose, we'll have these moments from these star players that are just able to take so many stocks out of nowhere. And it's really amazing just to get to see these players that might not be on here normally all the time, just be able to get to shine a lot more. It's really amazing to watch, and I'm happy we got to watch this team again. I'm very excited to see what they have for us today.
Yeah, now, Willie, I do want to ask, just talk to me a little bit about what the practice experience looks like here at SU as these players start to get warmed up. What kind of goes through your head in that competition sense?
I think a lot of it generally just comes down to making sure that the team is feeling as confident as they can. We do a lot of these warm-ups that are maybe more mechanics based, or we actually try to play a little bit online. And I feel like a lot of the time, the most important thing, especially right before, might not be hitting the sticks as hard as you can for as long as you can. It's really just more so getting in the right mindset and feeling like you're able to play your best today. And I really do think, especially with the attitude I've seen in the last few hours, regardless the last few weeks, it's been really amazing to just see how the camaraderie has sort of been growing already. And it's just amazing to watch this team.
Yeah, well, with all of that being said, I am super excited to see how this will play out. We do get a little bit of insight here on the broadcast side as to the matchup we will be seeing firsthand, and it looks like we will be seeing our Shenandoah Fox player up against a Mario player.
Absolutely. It's very interesting to me that even at Academy level, we're starting to see these characters that, are a little bit higher up the tier list, but require so much practice and execution. And even if it might not be the most perfect, you can really see in the passion and the ideas that a lot of these players have. And I'm very excited to see how both the Fox and the Mario are going to be able to play this out in a matchup that's going to be, a little bit more scrap heavy. You aren't going to see many two characters playing super patient or going for aerials that will only hit if the opponent is actively running at them. It's going to be something that I think is going to be a lot of fun, personally.
Yeah, that's something that we saw from Shenandoah's Fox player last week, was that they did a really good job of applying pressure consistently. It wasn't much of a get in, run out sort of game plan. It was understanding, hey, if I find my opportunity to get something started, I shouldn't let off the gas. You will see Foxes who will get a couple of good up airs going and really keep that air juggle. But then suddenly, if your opponent doesn't have a good grasp of getting back onto that stage or having to go back to that ledge, the percentage buildup is just so drastic.
Yeah, it's really insane to see, honestly. And I feel like, especially after watching Kenza play the last Thursday we were able to watch them, it's really interesting how Kenza is able to, even from a position where he might not have as many stocks, he may be down 1 stock, 2 stock, however many it may be, he's already starting the game at a disadvantage, and he's somehow already to just build up all of that momentum again and sort of get the game back more in a position where the opponent is more scared of him than he is of them. And that's something really hard to do, and I'm very impressed by what I've seen so far.
Yeah, I feel like Respect has just this whole other metagame to it in Smash Bros. Because the more you start to understand the core aspects of any sort of fighting game, you do start to see more and more of what sort of game mechanics need to be implemented at that higher level. But enough of that, we're hopping into game here. Mario versus Fox, and already both players are sort of dancing around each other to get a little bit of a feel as to what their game plans may be.
Absolutely. You know, both of these characters want to get their combos sort of started with these sort of low committal aerials, and you see both of these players sort of trying to get that initial jump in to get a good combo started. It seems like right now it feels like one may have an advantage, but as soon as the other air dodging or hitting the other one out of it, you already see this momentum shift so drastically already. Mario going for an up smash there out of shield. Very interesting to see him going for such an aggressive option early, but you have to keep in mind Fox is always threatening that aerial sort of range with the just being right over your head, and you have to be ready to respond out of your shield, otherwise he's just going to keep pressuring you till the game ends.
Yeah, and I mean, look at this. A nice dash attack coming out from Kenza to get a Mario to air dodge back on the stage.
Oh my goodness, that's an insane option to go for, even though I think he might have gone under the cape. Mario was not able to reverse Fox on there, and Kenza's already taking an early lead for SU, up one stock already. Let's see how much longer he'll be able to take it. Rolls right past. Mario getting very aggressive right now, throwing a lot of smash attacks out, trying to get whatever he can started to prevent this Fox from gaining momentum. The one thing he knows will likely make him lose these next few stocks within a couple minutes, but right now getting a very good grab. Goes for a down throw forward air, not a conventional combo we normally see, but Kenza's going to be capitalizing off this very heavily. Goes for an up air string. He's already at 63%. Goes off with a side B. This is already getting so intense off the bat. Goes for an up smash, punishes with grab. He might still have a shot here before he's able to take this stock. He might be able to get a couple more as the up smash just barely takes it. Will he be able to get up air? He is not. And the down smash already sort of solidifying that as a 2-stock each game, but we are already in a very scary position right here. This Mario, he might be able to get something started, but just as easily can all of a sudden lose all of his momentum super quickly. It's going to be very interesting to see how Kenza's able to bring this one back. Just barely misses the air dodge for the up smash. Gets the up air off of the weak dash attack. That's something very difficult to see. I'm very impressed he was able to hit that online of all places to bring this Mario to his very last stock. Let's see how this one goes out.
Yeah, and already I'm loving what I'm seeing, because Kenza, again, I talked about it right at the start, not taking your foot off of the gas. He's just keeping this pressure going, and while Mario is looking for a call-out forward smash and throwing out these aerials to just try and cover that space, try to get this Fox off of him and get this pressure going, it is still Kenza who is doing such an amazing job of just really making sure that this all works in his favor, but 102% means that now he is in a dangerous spot.
Absolutely. We'll see how Kenza's going to be able to handle this ledge trap. The down air just barely falls out. Gets a parry off of the initial jab. Now, we're a 1-stock apiece game. These are the starters, so remember, this probably will have a great impact on how the rest of the set's momentum is able to build for whichever team is able to take it. And right now, the percentage is saying that it may be Mario, but Mario, just as easily as Fox, sometimes can just get in your face and never really get out. We'll be able to see both of these players very much so aware that one more interaction could very well take a stock. It just barely misses the F smash as he just barely goes behind him in that very one instance. Oh my goodness, that was a scary interaction right there.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the kind of play you need to look out for. We've seen this Mario do a handful of dash back forward smashes, and while not all of them have connected, you can't be playing risky when dealing with a Mario as he goes off stage, connects the back air, and does take the lead to start things off.
Absolutely. That was, honestly, that was a very, very good attempt from Kenza. I can imagine that matchup in particular, especially on Wi-Fi, can sometimes just feel too, oppressive. You might not be able to get against Mario. He might be able to get a few of those reads on your side B callouts. Your illusions might just get hit a little bit too fast, but right there, Kenza's able to already put Shenandoah in a pretty favorable position. Despite losing, he was able to put a ton of pressure on that Mario. So even though numerically we might be at a disadvantage, I think the momentum is just going to be on Shenandoah.
Yeah, and not only that, I mean, we saw a lot of highlights for Kenza where the momentum was definitely on his side. He was getting the couple of good hits that he needed to keep that momentum going. I think a lot of it for this first matchup came down to one whiff punish that led to an up air string from Mario, and it just kind of snowballed from there. It was enough percent to really bring that momentum back into their favor.
Absolutely. You know, it's really fun. I think it's always a treat when you get to watch these two characters that are so advantage state heavy, and you get to watch those moments that might not be those crazy combos, but you get to see everything going through the player's head, you know, sort of how do I get this hit? How am I going to be able to put the pressure on when I'm not getting this hit? And you really are able to see some amazing things come out.
Yeah, well, as we look back at the replay, we can see a bit of that pressure game.
That was insane. That was such a crazy up smash.
Yeah, I mean, it's all this sort of call-out game. We do see Mario sort of dancing around Fox there, but is able to connect to the down smash. And I do think we will see sort of a drift away from Fox multiple times, where it's just a little bit of spacing that causes these small interactions that lead to these stocks. And I mean, stocks are the name of the crew battle, right? You are playing so dangerously on this thread. There's so much that can go into it.
Absolutely. There really is, and I think it's really fascinating, especially how almost every single one of these clips we've seen from both players is almost solely reliant on the fact that the other one was not able to reach their extension to the fullest extent. So you really just get to see, like, even if you don't take your foot off of the pedal, the pressure really never does stop, and each player needs to work so hard to get that back. Sending in the Ganondorf against Mario, this is a kind of interesting situation, because even though Ganondorf is a sort of larger character, and he might be sort of bait for the Mario, you know, he's very easy to get those sort of up air juggles and the nair combos, maybe even conversions into forward air, easier than most characters. I think it's actually a very good call to send in Ganondorf right now, because all he has to do is really take one stock against the Mario, which is a task that Ganondorf does relatively easily, I might add.
Yeah, Wailing number 5 did a really good job last week of bridging between characters, where he would take one stock from the opponent and keep his 3, which really is what you want in this sort of situation. You want to even out that playing field, and already we're seeing Ganondorf building up 96% against this mark.
Absolutely. One of the scariest things, I can speak from experience, one of the scariest things about fighting a low tier is the idea that you're just not able to get in on those key moments. You have to, and just like that, the pressure's too much as Mario unfortunately misses a reverse up B back to the stage, but Ganondorf, well, number 5, able to bring him back into the next game with 3 stocks. We're going to be seeing a fully even game for the second part.
Yeah, I need to go back over the past couple of weeks and do the calculation for how often Wailing number 5 has done exactly what he needs to in these sorts of situations. He needs to take the one stock and continue that momentum, get that information for who the other team may send in next. And I believe he has delivered every single time that this situation has popped up, which is crazy.
Absolutely. One of the perks of being a low-tier player is, even though your character might not be as strong as some others, might not have the crazy super fast options or movement that others have, he does have that fear factor, and he's able to get in your head more so than any other character. And it's really amazing to see just how powerful that is at Wailing number 5's advantage.
Yeah, so as we get into this, I do want to talk a little bit. We did a little bit of research ahead of time on like what sort of characters we may be expecting, and a lot of them are, I won't say stock standard, but characters that you go into and you have a general idea of like, okay, this character is just considered to be very solid, their game plan is relatively well-rounded, talking Diddy Kong, Link, Palutena. So I'm curious, who would you send in against this Ganondorf menace?
Honestly, if I had to say, I might send Diddy Kong, because I feel like his small size and ability to just sort of trip Ganon up with Banana might be enough to get some of those key edge guards you need. But again, I feel like it's a scary situation, because all of these characters, especially Palutena, now that I think about it, the Nair combos might be especially powerful, but all of them do have the potential of losing. Wailing number 5 is never really out of it, no matter how bad the matchup may be.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite parts about watching characters like these as well. Like, even with someone like Palutena, who you might get a little bit bored of after watching like the same Nair combos or whatever for a little bit, the really interesting part of the gameplay is when they're not doing that, because even though they're very well-rounded, the player needs to be exceptional in order to properly apply the tools.
Yeah, and when you're playing with a character who is in that well-rounded situation, you do also fall into, a lot of players get into this sort of autopilot mentality where it's a lot of the same options over and over. So I agree with you. When a player takes that character to the next level and sort of breaks this autopilot mentality, suddenly it just really adds this whole other layer, this whole new element to the game. And this is why I love talking about fighting games, right? It's just great.
There's so much complexity, even in the simplest of things, and it really does make any matchup such a treat to watch. Especially characters like these, I can't tell you how excited I am to see how they are able to fare against Shenandoah and how Shenandoah might be able to respond back.
Yes, well, as we get into game shortly, once again, we got a little bit of insight here on the desk as to who they are sending in, and I missed a character because Toon Link is entering the field against the Ganondorf.
We're going to see sort of a classic Zelda matchup right here. It's very interesting, though, that even though Link has, and Toon Link especially, is able to sort of weave around Ganon with all of these attacks, it doesn't make the threat of dying to anything like a forward smash or a side B down smash confirm, anything like that, any less scary. So even though he has the movement advantage, Wailing number 5 is going to be able to weave around these as the game goes on and might be able to win a matchup some might consider to be bad, and it's very interesting to see that. Oh, double bomb. That's going to be... Oh my goodness, goes for that. That covered everything except the one option that Toon Link decided to do. Very good. Maybe if he was closer to the center of the platform, that would have caught every single option, but still, the idea was there regardless. It's fascinating to see how he's already picking up on these sort of things after just a few short weeks of competition. Right now, we have Toon Link with the ledge trap. We'll see how that goes. Catches the roll-in shield with a grab. Very interesting option there to go for. Does he throw the bomb down? He does. Does he go for some sort of read on the roll get-up? He doesn't. Wailing number 5 back in center stage. It's almost like he was never off stage in the first place. Right now, we're in a very interesting situation where it feels like Toon Link just has to get that edge guard on the key part that makes Ganondorf so bad, but right now, it could be anyone's game.
Yeah, this Toon Link is doing a great job of giving Ganondorf the respect that he deserves, sitting back and using those projectiles to get that chip damage going, but he's not going for these ledge guards at all, instead opting for the grab and is able to get that back throw to close out the stock, but that does mean that Ganondorf is on the fresh percent, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see Toon Link starting to sit back again and playing this safe.
Absolutely, you know, off of the respawn platform, especially with that invincibility, with that fresh stock. Oh my goodness! Goes for a down air, catches the Ganondorf not receiving the ledge properly. That's a really risky gambit to go for. I am shocked he decided to do that, and even more impressive, was able to work, but catches a neutral get up with a forward air. Wailing number 5 proving he's not out of this just yet. He might have a couple more tricks up his sleeve, but right now, the Toon Link does have a stock advantage, which means that chip damage that we were talking about, that ability to throw back projectiles, just might work a little bit better in his favor right now, as he has no real reason to approach, because if he runs out the timer, you know, it's over. Like, he has the advantage. We'll see right now how Wailing number 5 is able to respond to some of that pressure by sort of forcing his way back in against Toon Link despite his sort of slower side. Able to mix it up with things like the shield being threatened with a grab, with a flame choke. Right now, Wailing number 5 proving that even with just a few hits, it can get super scary. Right now, goes for the down air, learns from his mistakes, doesn't miss the ledge again, goes for a forward smash, isn't able to get it. Let's see how he's able to respond to this situation. Ganondorf doesn't have the best edge guarding, but we'll see what he was able to cook up right here. Situation is back sort of in a neutral state right now. Toon Link has him on the ledge. What will he be able to do with it? Uses the forward tilt to catch him in the vertical area. Right now, it could be ends lights out for Wailing number 5, but right now he's holding onto his stock just long enough to give me a little bit of hope that he might be able to do a little bit something more right here.
Yeah, we do see Ganondorf opting in, trying to go for the jabs, trying to get even just a small hit to get a little bit of stage control back. He does get it back, as now we do see the up special get a little bit more percentage, and now he is the one with the stage control, at least for now. Goes for the up special, but a bomb into the back air will close out the Ganondorf, and that means that the opponent once again has a 2-stock lead.
Absolutely. I think, personally, in a matchup like that, it's fascinating that Wailing number 5 was able to put on as much pressure as he did, because when we saw in some of those situations where he was on the ledge, he was getting caught by the F-tilts, but getting caught by some of the bombs off stage into forward air setups, that it feels like Ganondorf might not be able to do anything, but I think it's fascinating that despite all that, he was able to keep it as close as he did and just put on so much pressure and get one more stock before he's able to leave out.
Yeah, and I mean, with these sort of situations we see here, you have just sort of strange, I won't say strange, unique interactions where, yes, Ganondorf goes for the side special, Toon Link is barely able to get under. This interaction here is enough to already get a lot of momentum in your favor. A down air on the ledge and getting that spike so early is just so much value, but a great call out on the neutral get up from Wailing number 5 does mean that he doesn't walk out empty-handed, and while he was able to sort of even out the percentages on this last stock, a very aggressive up special does mean that he does lose that stock, and we will have to see what player Shenandoah decides to send in next to take these next two.
Absolutely. I think especially it was very smart of William number 5 to go for as many grabs as he did. It's been so long since I've seen a Ganondorf just sort of go for an up B in neutral, and I was wondering for a little bit, why would you go for something like that? It's so risky. But then the thing is, when you have a character like Ganondorf with such strong normals and attacks, he has the big forward smash attacks, he can jab you, he can put on so much pressure with those attacks, your natural instincts are going to be to want to shield, and he was able to grab to sort of counter that with the rock, paper, scissors effect of, you know, the attack losing to shield, but then beating the grab, and everything just sort of cycles back into it. Being able to manage that on the fly in the middle of a game, especially with the delay of Wi-Fi, is such an amazing talent we're able to see from William number 5. So even in a matchup like that, we're able to see some real standout moments there.
Yeah, and frankly, that's, again, talking about these players. SU has been working closely and getting these academy players to this point where now they are starting to pick up on these sorts of habits where I believe the first week we did see a lot of moves thrown out for the sake of taking up space. That's something I address a lot on the desk, where people will just throw out a move, not necessarily just because it's strong, but also just because there's nothing else out yet. Usually that happens with a lot of projectile characters, but for Wailing number 5 and a couple other players on SU's rosters, now they're starting to throw out these moves with intent. Is it the right option for any given situation? We see while we're on the broadcast that up special may not have connected, but I think the idea was there on the points that you were talking about. You have someone who has been shielding these hits after Ganondorf has been able to get close. So the initial response is, I finally got close. He's either going to jump, he's going to neutral get up and hold up that shield, or I'm going to have a very bad time. And unfortunately, it was the last option.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just very interesting and intricate things going on in any matchup you can think of. As we get into this next one right here, we have Joker versus Toon Link. This is going to be a matchup I think we're going to have a lot of interesting interactions in, especially with that Joker having to counter the Rebel's Guard, making Toon Link a lot more scared in general to throw these projectiles, because the more he does it, the more that Arsene meter shows up, and the more scared you are of all of the options that Joker with that powered up Arsene at his side will be. Right now we see Toon Link trying to early establish a lead on the stage. Right now, Final Destination, an interesting side pick for both characters, as their projectiles are going to have a lot more space and area to control the pace of the game, while also sort of leaving both of them open much more without having a platform to rely on if they're getting juggled, which I know for a fact Joker enjoys very much. So Toon Link might be able to do so right now, but as we were talking about right now, the counter with the Rebel's Guard, full Arsene gauge right here. This character right now is so scary for Toon Link. Any one of these stray hits, like this up smash right there, just could have killed. And right now we're going to have to see how Toon Link is able to respond to that. Oh my goodness, goes for the bomb, catching the Arsene recovery angle, not having the same mix-up potential as the normal up B. Right there, just leading into the reverse, boomerang into fair. That's such an insane conversion to see. It's really amazing stuff. But right there, as we see, the earlier up smash, or the up B to the ledge was not able to work. It got hit by the bomb because, oh no.
Oh, an up special tether just does not connect how we want it to, which means that the Joker does go down a little bit earlier than they were hoping. But at the same time, we do see now Arsene meter starting to build up once again, and Toon Link doing a bit of a different game plan from what we saw last game, where it is a little bit closer to Joker, but sort of dancing around his options, going for the bomb down air setup again, and Joker returning it in stride, going for a down air, but does not connect the back air, means that now we have a dash attack off stage.
Oh my goodness, this is so scary. And at these moments, the back air could just come out and end your jump recovery early and take your entire stock, as right now the Toon Link is down to his very last option. Arsene having a little bit of time left on the clock right here. We'll see how Chiliad's able to manage this right now. Catches the bomb, throws it back down, catches him doing an up B option, punishes it with a dash attack, goes for a forward air. Right now we're seeing so many of these smart decisions being made, but Lad Gaben, Toon Link just trying to work so hard to bring this back. Right now we'll see how he's able to do it. Gets for a forward air. He might not have his up B recovery there. He isn't able to do it. Oh no. The horizontal angle just a little bit too much, because that angle, it's like a 30-degree or so. It's just not able to reach horizontally the way that it might be able to if it were a little bit closer. So unfortunate to see, but right now it's not over yet, as Chiliad's still able to get some of these attacks, catch Toon Link on this more offensive gameplay. We'll see if maybe Joker's dagger, knives, or projectiles might be able to do a little bit more something against this, as right now the Rebel's Guard's not had a chance to come out, but Arsene already fully on board without that. Goes for an up smash right now, 77%. Any of these hits or confirms could be very scary for Toon Link. Toon Link has to find a way to close this out now or camp out Arsene until the time is right. Oh my goodness, this is so intense right now. It feels like it's so down to the wire. Both these players on their very last stock, knowing that this bit of momentum could change or secure the fate of this game for either Shenandoah or PFW right now. Oh no!
Another tech situation where a bomb hits the Joker off stage, and instead we've seen it go outwards where Toon Link was going for those down airs, but this time around it's a tech situation on FD.
Absolutely. You know, that's the thing about Joker's up B. The first time he uses it in the air, he's going to like go up a little bit. He has that initial boost that's given to prevent him from falling down continuously. But if you get interrupted in there by something like a stray bomb or a projectile, all of a sudden, if you try and go for that again, that little bit of verticality is lost. So instead of being a situation where you would be falling and then jump up a little bit before doing the tether, right then in that situation, we saw Joker sort of falling down with it instead of being able to get the full height of it. It's really tragic, but that's just one of the things about having a tether recovery is you're going to have moments where some of these stray hits are just able to end your life earlier than you'd like.
Yeah, I feel like tether recoveries have this sort of spot where there was a time where so many people were in love with them and were like, oh, these are the best things in the world, because we saw crazy Ivysaur interactions at the start of Ultimate's lifespan. But as it's gone on, I think we start to see more and more of how people address dealing with these sort of tether situations, and a lot of it comes down to what you were saying, just getting these initial hits, and then after that it becomes a little bit easier to deal with, but 2 bombs into FD, oh, it hurts. It hurts every time.
Very, very tragic right there. That is the qualms of playing a character like that, but it also just goes to show that even though we might have these things at the start of a game's lifespan where it's like, this is so good, there has to be some way to deal with this, and then these many years later, we are seeing these players implement the counterplay we've spent so many years trying to refine and actually find out. It really makes for a fascinating game state where anything can change, anything can happen, and depending on how knowledgeable you are of all the options available to you, any situation that might have just been winning or losing could immediately change.
Yeah, and so with all of that, we are going into Shenandoah's last player, who has to take 7 stocks if SU wants to take the win, which is a very difficult task.
If there was anyone on this team I'd trust with the task, however, I would say it would be Robot Ninja. Right now, that Cloud, especially with momentum, if he's able to take down this Toon Link and potentially the next player, it could be so threatening, even though that recovery might be a little bit scarier than normal. That sword, especially with the threat of Wi-Fi not being able to punish it exactly perfectly every single time, Robot Ninja could take advantage of that here and be able to bring us to a Shenandoah win for the first game. But right now, we're going to have to see how Robot Ninja is able to deal with the Toon Link to start it off.
Yeah, and I'm a little unfamiliar with how this sort of Toon Link Cloud matchup will play out, just because it feels as though you would expect Toon Link to play a little bit further back with these projectiles and maybe go for the up specials if Cloud is landing, but also Cloud has really good spacing options through his back air and a good get off with the up B, so I'm not sure how this will play out.
Frankly, from what I can tell about Toon Link, it's that even though he's so fast and has so many projectile options, the things that he's really lacking in range. So you can see, like right now, as he's jumping off the stage, that Toon Link has all of these options available to him, but that sword is just like about half the size of Cloud. So I think Robot Ninja, in order to secure a win here, will just have to stuff him out, stop him from creating that space that he would need. But right now, we're going to have to see how he's able to do that, possibly landing forward airs, back airs, cross slashes, all these sorts of options available that are able to threaten Toon Link and his lack of range with all of this just scary sword pressure that's so much farther away than Toon Link could ever dream of without throwing a bomb or something like that. And right now we can see Toon Link having to adapt for that very well by being able to use these projectiles in situations where he knows his sword would have lose. Oh my goodness, goes for the limit cross slash right here. How will this ledge situation play out? Doesn't throw the bomb off of ledge like I might have expected. Right now, Robot Ninja just used the limit cross slash to take him off the stage, and we're already seeing Cloud at about 45 to 50% limit. It's going to be really interesting to see if he's able to secure another one of these with a couple more good hits and then really just finish it off as soon as he can with Toon Link with just such a high percent already. But right now, he might not even need it, as right now, it looking like Cloud might be able to take this like a back air or dash attack, but right now gets an upbeat 86% on the board. Dash attack, 100 right there. We're seeing the limit I talked about. Just barely misses the blade beam. Goes for the ledge guard. Doesn't exactly hit it.
Oh,
no! He tried to tech. He thought the up B would tech him into the stage and he had to prepare for it, but he just barely missed. He ended up air dodging into nothing, missing the ledge. It's always so tragic to see that sort of thing happen. But right now, we'll have to see how Robot Ninja is able to adapt to it. Gets hit by the boomerang out of the up B. That's a very strange interaction that we honestly see quite a lot. But with Toon Link, with his boomerang, just sort of being able to stuff out all of his options sometimes, just preventing him from doing what he wants right now. The third limit of this game right now against this Toon Link. How will he be able to do this? Throws out a blade beam, might want to jump over that, might have to deal with that. But right now, Cloud is off stage where he really struggles, catches the jump that might be curtains for his second stock, and it is.
Oh my goodness.
Right now, this Toon Link putting in so much work. Robot Ninja's already being put against the ropes. Goes for a down air that could have just very well ended it. We'll have to see how Robot Ninja is able to stop this momentum. But right now, this Toon Link is looking like an iron fortress. Just completely impenetrable right now. Creating as much space as he can. And as soon as he gets in, it feels like every option that Cloud is going for is missing. The 3 arrows on the floor right there, just showing the things that he's capable of, the range he's able to control. Right now, he is refusing to go in. He knows any one of these hits could be his end of the time here. And he's just looking to end it. Oh my goodness! That was insane. Do you know what happened there?
I do not.
I can sum it up right now. So, Toon Link has a shield. Toon Link has a shield that blocks all active projectiles. So, he stood forward right there to stop that shield, to stop the blade beam from hitting him. But the problem is blade beam is a multi-hit, so it did block the first hit. And then the wind caught him over the head. It caused him to drop the shield, and he got hit by all of the rest of the hits of blade beam. I didn't even know that was possible, but we're seeing just amazing new interactions and innovations coming out when the time seems right. It's really fascinating to see how even in moments like these where it feels like nothing else is going to happen, it's just moments like this. It's so much fun watching just any matchup you can think of, because we thought it was just going to be sort of cut and dry. We thought Toon Link was just going to be able to catch all the projectiles, control the range, stop Cloud from really doing anything he wants to, but right there we're able to see innovation right there with a blade beam just barely not being able to convert off of it.
Oh my goodness. I mean, it's crazy to see the sort of ideas that people come up with. You do, in that situation, expect the, to just hold up your shield. But with Toon Link, I mean, you have that option available to you.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he's done it before, but look here.
Yeah, absolutely. Watch this first hit. He blocks it. You hear the sound of the shield, and then the wind around him is able to hit over it.
That's insane. That is like a knowledge check to a whole different degree.
And you know what's crazy? If it was normal blade beam, that would have worked, because the normal blade beam is not a multi-hit, but because it was glowing blue right there, you see those extra hits were able to actually make the difference.
Oh, oh my goodness. I mean, hey, if you're Shenandoah, we take that because you still have a game to play. That means that this stock is taken out, and now it is 1 stock to 6. A very tall ask, but all the same, I am very curious to see when you're going into a situation like this. I don't believe there's any inherent advantage to limit charge being down the 2 stocks. Most characters with a comeback mechanic tend to have something like Joker's Arsene meter tends to build a little bit quicker, to my understanding. Lucario Aura works something similar. But for Cloud, it seems like now it's just kind of him versus the world.
Absolutely. We're going to have a situation right here where Robot Ninja is going to have to do what might feel impossible to do, what feels like an insanely tall ask. But I have to say, I've seen crazier things happen. I've seen these situations play out in all sorts of ways. But right now, we're going to be seeing a matchup I was not frankly expecting to see, but I'm very pleasantly surprised. Right now we're seeing Cloud Greninja, 2 characters I frankly find a joy to watch right now. We're going to see if this 1 stock from Robot Ninja is going to be able to counter against this Greninja's entire lineup. We'll have to see though. Goes for a forward air into up B conversion right off the bat, 35%. We're going to have to see if Greninja's ability to just go around and underneath maybe some of these attacks are going to be able to give him the win right now. Gets for a couple pummels off of the grab. We're going to see right now how this plays out. goes for a dash attack, forward air, jumps over it, gets a phantom footstool, able to reset neutral, sort of getting back to his normal situation. Right now we'll see if Robot Ninja is able to hold on to this little bit of momentum that he has from hitting that Toon Link with that Blade Beam that we saw earlier. And right now it's looking like he may be able to with another dash attack, full limit charge. Will he go for anything off of this? Might go for a cross slash side B. He does. Will he be able to punch what he does afterwards? Goes for a forward smash, a very interesting option. If he was able to hold shield, that actually would have broken it or just poked him fully and cost him the entire stock. But right now, Robot Ninja in a situation, he does still have his jump. I thought he lost it, but now, oh, he doesn't. He loses it. He falls out of the multi-hit of Water Shuriken. The more you charge that move, the more hits it'll get because it'll start spinning faster and faster. And in situations like those, when you get hit at an awkward angle where you're like around above it and then it sort of intercepts you right there, the hitbox just sort of like gets lost in it and eventually you just sort of fall out. And even if the perfect thing had happened and he was able to air dodge that on reaction, it's just tragic to see because you know that he's out of a jump. He doesn't have any resources available left. And moments like that just make you wonder, is Cloud really all that good? If he just can get hit by the most random, just sort of hits sometimes without his jump, and all of a sudden he's completely unable to make it back. That is the primary weakness of the character. But in everything else, he feels to excel. And right now, we'll have to see if that excelling nature of Cloud is going to come back full force in Game 2. With PNW being up a full game, we'll see if the momentum is able to ride them into a possible 2-1 reversal, or if PNW will be able to close it out. But I'm very interested, regardless, to see what we might see on the desk tonight.
Yeah, and when it came to how this played out, the start felt relatively solid, and while we saw players who were able to keep relatively close at that starting point, I do think it was a couple of unfortunate matchup swings where Toon Link really had a commanding presence throughout this entire crew battle. And I think if you have a player that you feel confident sending into that, I won't say this crew battle is solved, but it does become a little bit easier to plan around.
I will say, to counter that, however, I, as a tournament competitor over the last few years, have gotten used to a lot of different matchups, but Toon Link has always felt like one of those ones where it's just like I never truly understand him to the core. And I think a lot of that just comes down to the difference, because a lot of times you might see a character that you're unfamiliar with and go, okay, what can I do against this sort of archetype of play? Do I have to go in to get my hits? Do I have to stay back? Do I have to get some chip damage? How do I deal with this archetype? And I feel like the similarities between Toon Link, Young Link, and Normal Link might be overstated because, frankly, over my years, I might have gotten more used to Young Link. I've gotten very used to Adult Link, but Toon Link has always sort of evaded me, and I think that matchup knowledge is something very rare to have because, you know, he's a character that has the same moves in theory. All of the Links have bombs, projectiles, they all attack with their sword, but Toon Link does it so differently. Like, all of his bombs attack immediately upon landing on anything, even the floor, except they don't off a shield. His boomerang is going to be a little scarier as compared to the other Links where they have that multi-hit slash. Toon Link's is only one, but as we saw, it sends at such a gross horizontal angle that might be able to turn the tides against some of these characters with more bad recoveries, such as, for example, Ganondorf or Cloud. And I think the ability to master a matchup like that on the fly is something you're only really able to see from the best of competitors. And it's certainly a tall drink to try and swallow right now, but we'll see how Shenandoah is able to counter it. Possibly, maybe some of the other things we saw with Ganon earlier, he was getting pretty close, making a lot of those right calls on some of those options.
Gotcha. Well, with all of that being said, I do want to let all of you know we will be taking a very quick break, so don't go anywhere. We will have more Smash Bros. Action in just a little bit.
Absolutely. See you guys soon.
We've all been here before.
And we are back. Welcome to the Shenandoah Esports Academy crew battle, where if you're just joining us, we had Shenandoah go back and forth initially in this first round of this crew battle, but it just ran away from them as a Toon Link entered the field, and it was such a dangerous game, but it all fell out of Shenandoah's hands to start things off. But that does not mean that this crew battle is over. My name is Kevin Clayton. I am joined by Will. And Will, we talked a little bit about how this matchup is going to be a tough matchup to crack. This Toon Link player did a really good job and kept that pressure going. I'm curious, going into this crew battle, what changes would you make if you were in this sort of situation?
Frankly, I think you need to try and save the characters or the players you think will do the best against that kind of character. Save them for that situation. Maybe you want to lead with someone like Joker, or you want to lead with something like Ganondorf, something like that to sort of build that momentum from the start, because going into this, they might be leading the Toon Link. They might have a lot of built-up momentum from their win, and so they might just try and steamroll Shenandoah. So I think in order to win this from this situation where you're already behind, I think the way to win, the key to victory, is just going to be to stop that before it's able to happen, and before they know it, it'll be an even situation where everything can start back up again.
Yeah, and we've seen a handful of times on this desk where a team that wins the first round of these crew battles tends to go with a very similar, if not the exact same lineup going into the next round, and it's on the other team to sort of adapt it. But I have brought up a handful of times that it is very scary to assume that they will send in those same players in that exact same order, because you do have situations like that where suddenly you're dealing with a player who did command so much, and you don't want to throw away these stocks just because you were like, oh, I didn't think they would try to send in this powerhouse so early. There's a whole mental game to this, to the crew battle format.
It's so many levels of mind game that come into the, even just the order of the players that you send in, that can really make or break any situation. Even in matchups that might not make sense, all that really matters at the end of the day is individual confidence and momentum, and how that person plays in that moment. And something like momentum can really change all of that on a coin flip. All of a sudden, you're in a situation you couldn't expect to possibly happen.
Yeah, and so with all of that being said, Shenandoah does have a pretty big uphill battle, but one that they aren't unfamiliar with. These players are very used to a situation where they need to lock in and get this win when they need it most. And so I'm hoping to see that when these players go in, if we see players who we saw last time, generally they were playing solid. The game plan was there. We saw the Fox player, Kenza, do an amazing job of keeping that pressure going. It was one interaction, one whiff punish that led to a very high percent build to really even up that momentum. And same deal sort of with Wailing number 5. To keep that momentum going, he had one interaction where it just barely didn't get the right call, and it ended up biting him. So now I think if those coins turn the other way, it can really play out in Shenandoah's favor.
Absolutely. You know, this team is nothing if not well-rounded and able to adapt to these situations where it feels like I might be completely out of options here. He's covering everything I do. What do I do? It really does feel like Shenandoah in all these situations has been able to come out with a new answer, try new things, experiment with what they can, and play what they have to. So I think in a situation, it might be far from over.
Yeah, and on top of that, we did see the Joker player who was able to really control a little bit of that matchup. I do think there were a couple of awkward interactions off stage when it came to that tether that we talked about last time around that, again, could play out the other way. It's just a matter of understanding what resources you have available to you. We saw Cloud, who got hit while using his double jump, and that whole interaction led to a stock getting lost at a very early percent. And so you really do need to have this mental note. Take a deep breath, relax, and understand that this is all not only a mental game. You're dealing with resources. You got to understand what I have and what my opponent either does or doesn't. And so as we hop into this game, Fox versus Mario, we will have to see, is the mental game online with a 2-boxer matchup.
This is already what we were talking about with the ability to sort of change your strategies and adapt. We knew right here this is a matchup that we started with last game, so we'll have to see if either Kenza or DDQ the Mario will be able to make some of these changes that they might have to in these situations. Right now, Mario leading with a very strong 70% strength, sort of able to already give that sort of momentum base that he might need in order to start this off, but we're going to have to see if Kenza's able to bring it back with some of his own pressure that we have already seen in the past.
Yeah, so now we see, again, a similar interaction to what we saw in the last crew battle, where one good Mario string does lead to a pretty big percent deficit, but I could say that Fox can do the same, but Mario's boots will try to stop it in its tracks as a back air will close out one stock for Kenza.
Absolutely. We can already see some of those adaptations being made. Like we saw a lot of Kenza being able to use jump off of ledge, which is obviously like one of the better options that you can do off of the ledge because you have almost immediate access to all of your tools. But right now, Mario able to just catch it with a back air, stop him from being able to bring that back, and sort of already putting Kenza in a very scary situation with a lot of pressure off of the board right now, being able to get another up air string. We're gonna have to see right now if he can play this back from 90 or if Mario will be able to take another stock. Misses the up smash just barely right there.
Yeah, Kenza getting a little aggressive with these up smashes, and while the reward would be incredibly valuable, it does leave you into dangerous spots like this when it doesn't connect. Now, Kenza at 125 having to take a little bit off of this Mario, but a get-up attack will lead to an up smash, and that means that Shenandoah is once again on the back foot. Momentum building for DDQ's Mario as a back air connects, 2 back airs, and Fox is on ledge.
Absolutely. It's really something fascinating to see, because it might feel like this is just going completely differently from the other game. For the other game, they were just starting to learn each other's habits game 1. It was just super close. Both of them were getting super into what they were doing, but right now, as Kenza takes an up smash, he proves that there's still so much to be learned, as we're able to see the Mario catching the jump get up with a back air, then forcing him to know that he wasn't going to be able to jump get up again. But catching his other option, we're already seeing this Mario being able to adapt so well to these options he wasn't able to know ahead of time. As Fox is right now in a very scary situation. Very light character at 133. Will he be able to get a back air? Untechable! Oh my goodness! We're able to see so many of these on-the-fly moments that we were talking about before, where it's like the Mario now knows that the Fox is going to be able to recover high, so he catches him with a back air to catch him with an untechable stage spike right there. We have so many of these situations playing out right now. You can see both the players thinking so much, and right now the Mario able to start with a 2-stock lead for Purdue.
Yeah, Kenza definitely felt, I think, still in it before that back air connected. I do think one good hit from Fox in that sort of situation can definitely build up that percentage needed and could eventually lead to that stock, but I mean, it's such a dangerous game, and this Mario has been doing such a great job of really covering the ledge, trying to stay in a safe spot and keep that momentum going. It wasn't until that last stock that we do see Mario run off the stage himself and try to close it out in that fashion.
Absolutely. Like we were talking about before, I feel like a lot of these situations where it's like game 1, we're going into it sort of trying to feel out what the other person does. We're already seeing so much of that adaptation level coming straight in from Purdue. And right now we'll have to see if Shenandoah is able to adapt on a similar level.
Yeah, and if I had to bet, I wouldn't be surprised if Shenandoah tries to send in Wailing number 5 again against this Mario, because he was able to close out that stock the first time. But you do have a taller order than last time. You're going from 1 to 2 stocks, and while Ganondorf can't take those quickly, it's not an easy ask.
It's definitely not an easier ask for the other characters as well, which is something you have to think about. In a situation like this, Mario has 2 stocks, so it's almost as close as it can be, frankly, to a 3-stock to 3-stock situation without being exactly that. And right now you have to consider Mario has a lot of momentum. How will these characters be able to counter him effectively? And the thing is, even though Mario's sort of a stubbier character, he has to get a lot of those hits in with like the up air and sort of get in your opponent's face in order to actually get the hits. The problem is Cloud's range, which would normally be good in those situations. We've seen from Purdue their team's ability to sort of stop Cloud from being able to make it back, and Mario with options like Cape and Flood, it's so much scarier to send in someone like Robot Ninja. While Chiliad on Joker, we have another situation where he might just get like fireballed or hit off of the tether or all of a sudden lose all of the momentum and all of a sudden things start snowballing really badly, I do think that Whaling number 5's ability to sort of keep it locked back in might be able to give Shenandoah closer to an even stock count this second game.
Yeah, you brought up a good point talking about the cape. I don't think we saw too much of that in the last round, but in the first round of the crew battle, we saw a lot of Mario sitting back at the ledge and just using the cape to try and get Fox to go the other way. So I'm curious to see if that was a very conscious choice or if we may see that cape come out here in this matchup, as this was very intimidating the last go-around.
Absolutely. Ganondorf able to put so much pressure on the back foot already with some of the situation right now. Mario is starting to be a little bit more scared about how he approaches. You see him trying to get some of these jump ins a little bit less right here, trying to play a little bit more defensive just to establish his lead before he's able to go in. Because right now, trying to play against Ganondorf with a deficit on your stock count is anything but fun and casual, as right now we're being able to see that right in effect. The backer is able to be caught, but Ganondorf's grab going for a dash attack. Will he be able to get something off of the ledge here?
Yeah, we do see Ganondorf eating a little bit of percentage, but is still with the lead. Does get center stage control. Mario rolling in, gets a good up air string. It won't close it out. Ganondorf goes for the forward air, but it barely misses, and because of it, he fast falls down into the blast zone.
I have to imagine that he was trying to go for like something like a forward tilt or a forward smash, but just barely misses the edge and isn't able to get it. It's so unfortunate to see. But at the end of the day, that is the consequence. That's the fallacy of playing as Ganondorf. You have some of these moments where you just end up being off stage and have nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, so now we see Mario building up the percent already. A back air into up air string gets a nice bit of percentage, but a Ganondorf up smash returning it in stride. Oh my goodness.
Wait, oh my goodness. He was able to catch that. He had to roll twice in order to get out of the range of that and catches it immediately within a forward tilt. Whaling number 5 proving that he has so many tricks left up his sleeve with things like that he might not have even prepared for. As we were talking about, all that adaptation might be going out the window as soon as he sees something like this they couldn't have possibly predicted earlier instead.
Yeah, and we do see a forward air coming out from the Mario player, who is starting to dance back, trying to get Ganondorf to throw out a move and try to get that whiff punish game going, but instead a good amount.
The shield cross up and the shield poke. Right now, Whaling number 5 is able to put so much pressure on with all of these different moves. Like we're seeing F tilt, we're seeing aerials, we're seeing up tilt of all things, and now all of a sudden we're starting to see these down Bs come in, put so much pressure on the shield to make Mario trying to adapt on such a different level than anything he was trying to do before. And right now it's looking like Whaling number 5 is holding onto this stock at 171. Right now 189. Ganondorf able to be hit off of a back air, but goes just over it and misses it. That was such an incredible cape over there from DDQ on Purdue's side. Right now, all of that momentum is starting to slowly fade away, but if there's anything we know about Whaling number 5, you can never really count him out. Goes for the roll read, just barely doesn't get it. Oh my goodness, it really could be anyone's game at this point.
Oh, a very good roll read, and that means that Whaling number 5 is definitely picking up on some habits. Will he find the opportunity to get one more good read? It is looking rough, but he does get back onto the stage, which means that now it's just a matter of getting that habit online. Mario going in for the roll read, and we do see Whaling number 5 take a step back, trying to use the forward tilt to get that connect, but it won't be enough just yet, as both players are racking up to kill percent.
Absolutely. We're getting into such crazy situations right there, as it feels like both these players are just trying to throw each other off more and more, and just hits the barely. Oh no! He just barely hits the stage spike on the nair, forcing him into a situation where he has to guess, do I want to use my air dodge now and try and tech, or do I have to try and prepare for a situation where I'm off stage now? It's a very scary situation, but right there, we're able to see so many good efforts come out from Whaling number 5, just barely not being able to work out in situations where, honestly, I feel like they would be able to against most other players, but DDQ on Mario just proving that he has so much left in his tank. It's going to be a tough ask for Shenandoah, but I do think Whaling number 5's contribution of the stock, it might feel small, but it really does mean that the shift and pace of this game, it could go anywhere from here.
Yeah, and frankly, I feel like this Mario player has definitely leveled up between the first round of this crew battle and the second. We did see a very close 3-2 interaction to start things off, but I mean, this one here, he's been doing such a great job of dancing around these characters that SU has been trying to use. But I mean, I'm sorry, that interaction there still gets me every time.
That was absolutely insane right there. I do think another level of that adaptation we were able to see is the Mario, who on that first stock it might have felt like he just SD'd and Mario might have just been, oh, okay, I'm back in it. We saw right there he missed the combo and he was aware, okay, this Ganondorf player knows how to get out of these combos. I need to sort of stop. So you're able to see it might not have been highlighted there, but some of those up air strings, he was ending a little bit early to try and instead react to what he did afterwards.
I feel like we don't see that too often in the Smash Bros. Environment, at least on this broadcast. Usually a lot of people tend to go for combos that just, well, for Mario's sake, we'll say would end in like up special. Something where you do lose a little bit of that reaction time, but recently, as Shenandoah has started broadcasting more and more fighting games, I've truly started to appreciate the ability to use that time, like forfeit like a hit in exchange for getting that setup. It's incredibly valuable because it means if you are right on whatever option they land with or call out their landing option, it just can lead to even more percent. It could lead to the stock. It's crazy what all sort of the mental stacking of dealing with what your opponent has. I don't know. There's so much that can go into it.
It really is a fascinating thing to touch on. And the thing I particularly find the most fascinating is that this is not something that's like easy to do on the fly. You have to like have a little bit of knowledge and be able to act on it. Like we were able to see, Mario had to see that his combos weren't working in order to stop going for them. And I think that level of like skill might not have shown up before because it's so hard to do on Wi-Fi especially.
Yeah.
But the fact we're able to see it even right here in this game is just amazing on all levels as we hop into this next round right here, sending in Joker, which means we will be anchoring Robot Ninja once again.
Yeah, Chiliad's Joker is going to try and close out the one stock on the Mario, and definitely a character who has the toolkit to do it. Will we see a similar interaction to what we saw last time where Mario was doing a really good job of dancing around the Ganondorf, or is Joker's speed going to be able to sort of play into this matchup, and now it's going to be Mario who is going to have to make the callouts for this matchup?
Absolutely, and I will say, it does feel like they're two characters that could not possibly be more different than Ganondorf and Joker, but when Arsene comes online, it feels like all of his moves just might be as strong as our Warlock Prince right there. He's going to be, right now, he has him right on board. It's going to be a lot scarier of a situation. He might have to try and play a little bit more safe like we saw earlier, because all of these strikes have the potential of just ending Mario's streak right here as he goes into the 6th stock of the Shenandoah crew battle. We're going to have to see if that comes into play at all, because Arsene's just so threatening just by existing.
Yeah, DDQ is doing a really good job of the moment Arsene was online, the foot was not off of the gas as a good cape into back air will take that stock. I am loving what I'm seeing from DDQ's Mario.
That cape in particular was so fascinating because he used it to grab the ledge, push Joker off of it, and get a ledge truck back air, which is something I frankly was not expecting to see at this level of play, but the fact we are is just fascinating. It's really interesting to watch as we get to see this Mario just proving that he has so much left and he has so many things he's able to still do. We'll see if Chiliad on the Joker will be able to get that right now as he's off stage. What will the Chiliad go for right here? Maybe he goes for a roll get up read or something like that, but right now it seems like it's in a reverse situation as Mario right now is the one on the power. Oh, gets a forward air, a forward smash rather, as the situation just ends up being, do I want to go left or do I want to go right? Do I want to cross up Mario or do I not want to? And we see DDQ again proving his ability to just react and on these options on the fly right now, as it feels like it's all of a sudden gone to a last hit game.
Who is this Mario, man? He is such a... He has leveled up from the last time around, and I'm truly impressed by the way that he is playing. He's spacing out. He's playing a slow game, is able to get the back air to start this momentum going, tries to get the spot dodge call out, but the Joker jab does come out fast enough. A good shield will mean that Joker has to use the jab to get Mario off of the stage. Goes for the forward air and loses Arsene. Has to tether back onto it, and Mario goes for the up smash, but it won't be enough. Both players over 100.
Right now, it does feel like it's anyone game, but really right now, Joker is only halfway to Arsene, so he's going to need a good call out or some sort of option to get Arsene quickly, or maybe just go with like a straight back air or something. We'll have to see as DDQ right now is being pushed to possibly to the highest press that he has against any of the other players right now. Chiliad might just be able to take this, but right now, we've seen with the DDQ be able to pull out these things before. Right now, low profiles under the up smash with the landing hitbox of the down air. So amazing right now. it does happen as DDQ is able to take the 9th stock of Shenandoah in an amazing display of last hit calmness and like being able to react to these things no matter how much the pressure might be piling on. It's fascinating, I might say.
Yeah, I need to give DDQ's Mario kudos because it has truly just been it's been beautiful to watch. It's really taken this next level of understanding sort of your momentum-based game plan. When do you want to be going in? When do you want your opportunities to get your percent buildup? And do you need, what moves do you have to respect? When do you need to take that moment to breathe and give your opponent a little bit of stage control because of it? And so when we look at these replays, I do want to acknowledge that just look at how he dances around what Joker has to offer in a lot of these situations.
I think it's especially fascinating because I, for one, have seen some of these situations in crew battles where it's like a team will just sort of get rolled by one player in particular and just not really have any options. But it's not like we're seeing that at all. It feels like Shenandoah's being able to put up such a good fight, but DDQ is just, he's not doing that similar thing that other players might, where it's like, all of a sudden, I don't know what to do. I'm just lost now. DDQ's been able to adapt so quickly and so impressively that it really just does feel like an iron wall this last stock that he's able to hold against both of these players. It's amazing to see that he's able to keep such a cool head in moments like these. It's not something you come across often, and it's not an often easy situation where you're put in a situation like this where I have one stock against all of these team members, but DDQ is just sort of blasting and able to keep getting these situations. It's really amazing.
Yeah, I know a lot of players in crew battle situations like this who tend to get overly aggressive. When you have that lead, you get into this mindset of, if I get one more, that's good enough, and they play almost reckless. But DDQ has been doing a really good job of saying, yes, I can play aggressive, but I can get more and more value. I know these players I was able to watch as my teammates were competing, which means that now it is all paying off as DDQ is putting up a lot of pressure. But my apologies, our Cloud player is in now, which means will he be able to close this one and bring a win for SU, or is DDQ the beast that we all need to respect?
I was starting to talk about it at the beginning of the set, where Mario into Cloud is a little bit scary for both players because Mario being threatened in the range department with sort of his stubbier aerials and options not being able to hit as easily. But right now we're going to be seeing Mario's side of that coin, where he's able to just sort of take advantage of Cloud and possibly exploit some of his lower recoveries. Goes for a forward air right there, catches him trying to miss the ledge, just barely doesn't hit it.
Oh, I love the call out, trying to get that limit up B into Mario's arms. It won't be enough, but Robot Ninja is going to go for the up special, is able to grab the ledge, and Mario sitting at 30%. Is looking for these options to close out this stock, is jumping, trying to get these back airs, but Cloud doing a good job of not going too high.
Absolutely. You know, as of right now, I was starting to get worried if Mario was going to be able to continue something like this, but now the pressure's starting to build on Mario, starting to get into that position we saw earlier where it's like you're at 50%, but will he be able to continue it? And right now, Robot Ninja trying to throw out some more of these, sword moves, just try and keep Mario from getting in his face too much. We'll have to see if it's able to continue right there. Holding shield just until the right moment to roll right there. Robot Ninja at 177%. We're seeing the flood we talked about earlier. Goes for a forward air into an F smash. What option coverage right there. He reacted to the fact the forward air didn't hit and immediately went for an F smash the opposite direction to catch the air dodge away.
Yeah.
Such amazing adaptation right there. But right now, Robot Ninja just having the Cloud right now feeling like it's anyone's game when it's honestly pretty one-sided in terms of stock count. DDQ making it feel like an uphill battle nevertheless. Oh my goodness!
A very good read call out from Robot Ninja, is able to get a good amount of percent onto this Mario. Send him off stage, but Mario is returning back in stride. Does get a roll read into the forward smash.
Oh, there's the flood.
Robot Ninja does have to get back onto it using that flood and is going to keep building up this percentage. Cloud struggling to land, but is throwing out the down air and does knock DDQ out. He will not be taking all 12 stocks today, and Robot Ninja is in for the long haul.
Absolutely. We'll have to see if this Cloud is able to make some of these last hit, sort of these all of a sudden I'm in such an awful position, will I be able to make it back sort of moments. But I find it especially interesting how much Robot Ninja is able to get off of some of those roll reads. I have to imagine after doing so much work against all of the other players in Shenandoah, DDQ's ability to sort of react on that might be a little bit lesser than it might have been before. But right now we're able to see sort of those habits getting more caught onto as we see the lack of range sort of forcing Mario to roll and then getting hit by things like those cross slashes or maybe just stray back airs, things like that. The Robot Ninja is sort of able to catch him on knowing you've been in here for too long. You're starting to get a little bit tired of these options. Let me show you what I can actually do.
Yeah, we did see a lot of when any given one of SU's players was at about above 100. We saw a lot of Mario up smashes and down smashes come out into usually a roll away sort of deal. It was in that interaction where Cloud is able to connect that down air, is able to close out that stock, and so when Mario was trying to find that up smash to close that one stock, it instead bites him, and that means that now it is possible to bring back a 2-9 deficit, but again, there's so much that can go into this, and I worry about the Toon Link on the other side because that player did so much the first time around. It's a very tall ask.
It absolutely is, but right now we might have an opportunity to get some more stocks. We're seeing a player we haven't before. We're seeing someone on the Rosalina.
Okay.
I'm going to be honest, there are a bunch of matchups in this game I'm able to give expert level commentary on, a lot of characters, a lot of play styles that I'm able to sort of analyze because I know how they work. Rosalina is a complete loss to me. Like, this character does so many things I've never, like, really seen before. Like, these Luma desyncs able to throw him in a direction completely opposite to where the jab initially was. That anything could really happen at this point. And I'm wondering if this might be a player that they were hiding at the end, because we didn't have this even on our planners. We didn't have any idea that they had a Rosalina at all, so I'm wondering if this might be a chance for them given to like a substitute player or something to take these last two stock, or if this is a secret weapon that they've been holding on to in order to end it right now. Right now, Luma getting thrown off, so easy to put him into tumble. Right now, Rosalina is just by herself, all on our lonesome, just barely misses the down air on the upbeat Cloud. Still being able to survive in a situation where he is the most vulnerable, that being the offstage, catches the blade beam with a down beat. It's looking right now, this might work.
Yeah, this Rosalina is doing a really good job. Oh my goodness. Covering not only the neutral get up with the Luma, but the jump in with Rosalina herself means that the option coverage was good enough to close out one stock onto Robot Ninja. With Rosalina sitting at 60, you mentioned it before, this character is definitely a bit of a unique matchup and one that I feel like a majority of the player base does not fully have a good grasp of, which means that you need to be playing very careful as we do see Robot Ninja opting to sit back, not trying to go too far off stage and giving respect to the Rosalina up special since she is able to go so far deep into the off stage.
Absolutely. It's something else interesting. Rosalina is such a hard character to pilot because not only do you have to manage your own options, not only do you have to focus on what your opponent is doing, you have to constantly keep track of where the Luma is, if they're getting hit into tumble, what positions they're covering, what they're already doing, what they should be doing. And it's just such a tall ask in order to have someone play this character in a crew battle setting. But right now, it seems to be working as Robot Ninja is not able to secure this very first stock. 85% limit is online. The Luma might be able to stop a blade beam like that, so he's trying to roll in to get his advantage instead of throwing a projectile. But right now, we're going to have to see how he chooses to use this. He might have to go for an up B. He does!
Yeah, and I mean, I'm loving what I'm seeing. The adaptation from Robot Ninja to try and get close, jumping over the Luma, and while, yes, the first interaction ended in a jab, this time around, it does lead to a forward smash punish, and 138 to close out two stocks is a lot, but he has been doing a great job of really dancing around and not going down to these stray hits. If Rosalina wants this, it's going to need to be off of a very good hit like that up smash, as now Cloud has the stage control.
Absolutely. Even at 170%, we can see Robot Ninja doing as much work as he can, trying to get any more stocks that he can as this more powerhouse of a player, Tarkovsky on Rosalina. It's feeling like such an impossible battle, but right now, Robot Ninja making it work by hitting the Luma, but the backer might be able to do it. Doesn't do it. Will not be able to make it back, though, without something with the help of a limit, but is able to hit the Luma down air to close it out. Shenandoah losing the set 2-0, but honestly, I have to give props to the other team. They were showing some amazing adaptations on their side. And on our side, I have to say, we put up a very valiant battle. There were a lot of moments in there where I feel like we really did some amazing things. And I feel like the team has a lot we could learn from it. But at the end of the day, honestly, that was some very good Smash Brothers.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? While Shenandoah does go down this time around, that doesn't mean that this season is over or anything like that. We are in this phase where you can go down, but then VOD review it. Take the time to learn what your opponent did, if there were any habits that you may be able to capitalize the next time around. And these players are all still trying to learn, trying to improve their skill, bring it to the next level. And I do think that Shenandoah, just Smash Bros community, is strong enough to bring it to that next level.
Absolutely.
Yes, well, with all of that being said, that will close it off for us here. So thank you so much for watching, and we hope to see all of you in the next Shenandoah broadcast.
Shenandoah University is a big little university rising.
With 22 Division III sports teams, over 200 areas of study,
over 300 annual performances, an elite academic esports program,
Nationally ranked health professions programs, one of the biggest university presences on Broadway,
immersive AR and VR learning programs,
cybersecurity and computer science programs, and innovative undergrad and graduate programs.
all at a place that cares for you.
Shenandoah University is the big little university rising. Find out more at su.edu/rising.
We have the Esports Arena right here on campus in Winchester, Virginia, and this facility acts as the hub for all esports activity at Shenandoah University. Students are able to use this space not just for competition and practices, but also as a living learning community and a sandbox for them to come and explore and practice and try out things related to and through esports in the gaming industry so that they're getting that hands-on learning and the skills necessary to help them find a career by the time they graduate. We also have the professional level broadcast production booth where we do all of our broadcasting and production, from casting of our games that we play right here on campus to working with outside entities to record footage for them as well. In addition to the space that we have here in the Esports Arena is the Esports War Room. Our students get to use that space for studying, but also outside projects. So our students get to use this space for professional development and the academic side of our esports program, which is such a critical component to go with that competitive element that we have. So we combine all of our facilities at Shenandoah University with competition, community, and career preparation. We have over 250 days of programming, and there's something for everybody, and we want you to be part of it.